my strict panelist. That's exactly what we needed right now. Shashi, you're the star. Thank you. All right, I'll continue with my introduction and I'll pass it to my panelists. So we are an early stage VC, as I said. I've been running it for 3 years, investing across all verticals. If you're early stage projects, I would be happy to talk to you after the panel. Let me introduce my panelists, my respective panelists. We have some substitutions today. So Anndy Lian, so very all-rounded advisor, investor, book author, and many, many more. Advising to governments, projects, different DAOs, and doing a lot of different things. He will tell you guys about himself. Then we have Shashi. Shashi is a global lead at Divinity Foundation. Thank you, Shashi, for organizing this. Happy to have you on board with this panel. You'll definitely give us some insights into how ICP and Divinity Foundation is nurturing and growing its ecosystem. Then we have, instead of Cryptolisa, we have Red, which is also, will tell us a bit more about decentralized governance. And we have Petr from Morningstar Ventures, who's head of growth. So guys, a quick round of introduction, maybe like 45 seconds each.
I'll go first then. Hi, I'm Anndy Lian, I'm based in Singapore. Usually I tell people I'm a book author, but for most of the time I give a lot of different advice to different government. More recently I invested in an AI company called Neurai. We are looking at building a lot of financial empowerment using AI. And of course, I'm also a licensed fund manager. Recently, go really crazy into meme coin investing. And then the new entity will be called Meme Core. So happy to meet everybody.
Hi everyone, this is Shashi. Together with Emilio over here, we have created this wonderful program called ICP Hubs. And this entire program actually is organized by Jake, who is the hub lead for Korea. We have 33 hubs globally in the space, and the idea of these hubs is a decentralized ecosystem. So you can think of it as like a decentralized extension of the foundation itself. So they do everything from events, evangelization, to developer education, to hackathons, to incubation, investor relations, and everything that you can think of. And while in Web3, we talk about tech decentralization, but ecosystem decentralization is very rare. And ICP's tech is one of the most decentralized tech available in the space. We thought, why not decentralize our ecosystems too? So that's ICP Hubs doing that.
Hey guys, it's Red from Turkey. I am also one of the founders of the People's DAO. We are a decentralized organization. We are mostly focused on investing and marketing of the projects that we have invested in, especially for the Turkish side. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice to meet everyone. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Petr. I'm from Morningstar Ventures. We are Dubai-based group of funds focused on investing in early-stage startups and helping them to growing. Myself personally, in crypto since 2019. Started as a marketer and then in the agency, and then moved to the VC side and supporting our portfolio companies and our in-house brands with customer acquisition, community management, community building, growth, business development, partnerships.
Thank you very much, my fellow panelists. Let's kick it off. The next section is going to be a little bit of character opening. Because listen, in the end of the day, we're all human, and we're here presenting our companies. We have our own views, so I'll let you express yourself for 2.5 minutes each. I'll start with Anndy here. We'll go around in a circle. So Anndy, your career is spanning, around. You're doing a lot of different things. You advise to governments. You give different keynote speeches. So my question would be, how your journey shaped your vision for the future of this space?
I think the space here now is growing in a very rapid environment. a lot of this technology are very mature, you know. And to be very honest, on my end, on a very personal view, is that I think the core of most projects, you know, including ICT, is all about community, right? You know, like today we have a good crowd of people talking about their vision, their project. You know, I think the future for crypto is definitely regulations, and also at the same time, because of the people that we have, you know, we have a certain level of people power. You know, people can come together, make their own investments, make their own judgment, you know, or even create their own token. It could be a meme, it could be a layer 1, it could be utility. But to me, the future is for crypto, you'll be community driven. You know, that's how I look at things.
Thank you very much, Shashi. You next. I know, you know, as being an adoption lead at Dfinity, you do a lot of different things. My question to you would be, how do you guys support your early stage projects that building on top of ICT? Is it grants, investment help, fundraising help? What kind of help do you give to your early stage?
So, if I have to summarize this in one line, it goes with that famous saying, it takes a village to raise a child, right? How we see this is project acceleration. Normally, if you see in the space, people approach it very linearly. Like, okay, first I need to get a grant, then I need to build a project, and then I will raise some investment, do some SAT and all, go out to some KOLs, and then I will launch my token, and then I will buy an electric yacht. That's the entire narrative, right? But it's actually not like that, because you have to do, not sure about the electric yacht, but you have to do all of this together, right? And it's very tough, because Web3 space is very different from Web2, because here the tech, there are inherent challenges with the tech itself, because it's an emerging tech, right? So it's like a developing country, if I could put it this way. So you have different challenges, the processes are not set, regulations are not there, all of those things, right? So to put this in perspective, what you need to do is, you need to constantly take support from different experts in different areas, right? So I think a lot of projects just focus on capital raise, but that's the very easiest part in my thing. So what we do at ICP with ICP hubs, right? It's simple. Local, we are creating these hyper-local accelerators using the Olympus platform that we recently launched. We have 22 global accelerators running on the platform right now, and the idea is, how do you have local projects supported by local marketers, local experts, local tech people? Because at that stage, if throwing money what was a way to build amazing enterprises, every VC would have been doing that, right? So of course that doesn't work. So this we realized, and I think the grants are, and this is a controversial take, but the grants are the worst thing that happened to Web3. Some of you might agree to this, because people are just looking for quick money. So what at Global Adoption Team at ICT, which Emilio and myself decided very early, that we are everything except grants. So when project comes to us, last week I was on a call with a project and said, tell me about the grant perspective, and I was like, there is no grant perspective. You tell me what is your product, and then we'll decide what support we give. Because if you want grant, you can get anywhere. But what we offer to you is like creating an event like this, which no one locally can create, or something else, right? So that's how I see it.
Beautiful, thank you, Shashi. That was really elaborative. So, Red, you're a key figure at Pickles DAO. You guys, the biggest DAO in Turkey. You've been advocating for decentralized government for a while. How that shaping the future of our industry, and what's your take on that?
So the first time we actually decided to open or build our DAO was the first time we get bad influence from the bad actors in the space. able to invest. So we need to find something in them. But many of them, because what we find out is there are so many bad actors, and you can't just trust them by yourself because there's always one single point of failure every single one. So because of that, when we open our DAO, because it's decentralized, because people can vote and change and add some people, and it's always going to be relevant, and some people will get out and they will fill in with some other people from the same community. So with that being said, this way we were able to manage somewhat more trustworthy organization for more investing potentials, and after the investing, because many of us in the community were actually KOLs, we also started the marketing for the same projects that we had invested in. So it was a win-win situation for both of the investors within the community and both of the KOLs that already within the community and investing in that project. So the project will benefit, we benefited, and the community benefited in the same organization. So with all that, in the future, I believe this kind of initiatives will take more and more space in the city in general, because people want control in their hand. Just like in democracies, people want to hold control. They want to have vote right to what's going on and how to manage their own money, their own speaking, or their own expression of what's going on in the current street. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do, and I believe it's gonna take off even more in the future.
Absolutely agree with you, and thank you very much for the insight. And finally, Petr. So, from the perspective of working in the VC, what does head of growth actually do? How do you guys help growing your portfolio companies? What's your actual day-to-day activities? I would be really interested to hear that.
Yeah, sure. It's a very common question especially from my Web2 friends, because they don't know what's happening there. But yeah, to give the clarity and transparency, it's starting from the simple things. When we come on board with the project, we give some generic advisory and give some generic recommendations on what they can improve and how they can grow, and what they can do for their marketing strategy or for their business development strategy. But how we're known on the market is, first of all, because of our network. Our total number of portfolio companies is around 200, including projects across pretty old chains and all verticals. So whether it's for very early stage companies onboarding to new layer 1s or new layer 2s, which chain to use to deploy, which protocol will be underlying for a specific company, or help them to migrate from one chain to another and do it at the favorable terms, do it with the ecosystem support, and so on and so on. And any other type of sort of partnerships and connected dots between projects, not only between portfolio, but also between our expanded network, which includes different service providers, other VCs, exchanges, launchpads, angel investors, market makers, and pretty much everyone in the space. And of course, some more tactical and execution when it goes to specific marketing campaigns, helping them to design influencer collaboration strategies, help them to execute these collaborations, connect them with local partners in different demographics, connect them with marketing agents, and do some direct marketing campaigns, as well as run our own content strategies that we do on behalf of our brand, because we do a lot of research, articles, AMAs, podcasts, interviews, video content about our portfolio companies. That's in a short way.
Yeah, man, I'm here. I'm just trying to get people involved. Beautiful perspective, thank you very much. Considering that you're very much involved with the strategical planning and basically a growth of the project, now I have a really clear picture. Guys, this was really a round of introduction. and round of what I call a character opening. The next one is the juicy part. And I'll start from the question, and that's going to be basically my opinion, but I really would like you to elaborate on my opinion, maybe. So, I believe that the current stage of the market, there's only few narratives that actually working and growing. Industry becomes dumber and dumber, in my opinion. People really involved only into memes and tapping these days. So in terms of the crisis of narratives, is basically how I call it. I would like to elaborate on different things. So I'll go through the list of things I would like to know, and then you tell me what would you like to take on. So first of all, are you actively investing now? How do you prioritize choosing your next portfolio, considering that we are in a crisis of narratives? What are you looking in terms of your investment? Is it a long-term, short-term, quick flip, a long strategical adjustment? Do you prefer equity or tokens? And are there any preferences or red flags that you could tell us right now a little bit more? I'll go not the traditional way in the circle. I'll start from that side and we go that way. So Petr, can you please maybe elaborate on a few things that I said? I could remind if you want.
Yeah, sure. These are one of the most popular questions to us as a VC, so I'm happy to take all of them. First of all, we are not actively deploying right now. It's been a crazy year for us, getting a lot of new deals, accumulating some of our existing portfolio companies, doing OTC deals, and that's why right now we are focusing on supporting our existing portfolio. So we are not deploying actively, but we are always looking for great founders and great minds in the space, mostly on the consumer application side. We are not very active on the infrastructure investments, but anything that can potentially reach 100,000 users, daily active users, or 200,000 daily active users, for us interesting, whether it's AI applications, social fi applications, DeFi applications, entertainment applications, something that can create day-to-day habits for people, and everything that use Web3 technologies on its backbone, but also can be phased to the mass adoption and to the real consumers. That's quickly about it. We mostly token investors. We have a bunch of equity investments and also equity plus token investments, but right now our focus is on the pure token investment side. And yeah, that's about our strategy at the moment.
At this moment, especially as a DAO, we're also stopped pretty much investing our new projects at the moment, not because mainly of the lack of narrative or lack of funds as per se, but it's much more because there is not much quality or quantity. Like right now, I'm trying to look at that. Back in the days, it was okay because there wasn't any projects, there wasn't many players in the space, so many of the projects were actually came out as quality projects, and quantity was at the same time. But right now there is a project inflation, that's what I call. There is a big project inflation at this moment happening, and mainly because of that, we kind of think twice, triple maybe, just before investing in it. Because there is actually not great projects coming out. I'm not sure it's because of the current market situation or just because everyone has lost all of the ideas they had in their mind. But it's the current situation right now. We are mostly focusing promoting the already invested projects. We already invested, or the projects that have invested not from us but somewhere else, and they're waiting. They're trying to put themselves on the stage of the people. So we are kind of helping them in the Turkish market, promoting themselves, connecting with them, especially for the local case. If it's like a GameFi project, we're trying to connect them with hardcore gamers that are going to play even if the game is broken down, even if the game has bugs. but they still want to play. We have that kind of community in Turkey, so we are trying to bring them together and help them develop until hopefully it's a phase, until this phase of the market situation will pass, and then we maybe in general like the worldwide markets, if the money starts flowing again, I believe you will see much more improvements on the other side of the project.
Thank you very much. Shashi, please. I know you have a lot to say.
For our case, I think just on the narrative part, right? We have been very amazing as an industry to take narratives to a pro max level, where of course narratives make sense when you are looking at a global investment landscape, right? It has been there. But when I say pro max, what I mean is now people are looking to stay relevant in the news every 2-week cycle of narrative, right? And that's like kind of crazy, to be honest. Like then it's just like, the lack of a better word, silly, right? So now coming to what narratives we are looking at, we are at L1, right? And L1 is about the ecosystem. So we look at more or less everything. At the core of this, right, is where ICP and the entire hubs network look at is the entrepreneur itself. Because whether it is Web 2, Web 3, or probably if we will have Web 4 in the future, narrative pivot, products pivot, but what remains stable is the entrepreneur. So we are looking very closely at the heart of these entrepreneurs, and that's why these global hubs helps us, because for someone sitting in Zurich or any part of the world, it's tough to understand an entrepreneur from the local perspective, say for example in Turkey. But our Turkish hub, actually you might be aware of them, probably, actually have worked with these people, and there are social references, right? And nothing can beat social references. So that's one part of it. And at a macro narrative level, we are focusing on two things. One is the chain fusion narrative, where basically we believe multi-chain is an old thing, because multi-chain leads to liquidity and user fragmentation. ICP has developed a tech using threshold signatures and chain key cryptography, where you don't need to build an app in every ecosystem, or you don't need to build an asset in every ecosystem to tap into the ecosystem of that. And you don't need to heavily rely on central exchanges for whatever reason. So that's one narrative. And the second narrative is, of course, what Emilio was talking earlier, was the entire narrative around AI. Because ICP already has decentralized compute, decentralized storage, all of that built in chain itself. Now the future is we are also bringing in entire layer of GPU in our subnet, where the node providers will be running on GPU. We have already demonstrated an entire learning model, language model of facial recognition running inside a smart contract. For people who don't know, as of now, ICP smart contract can have up to 400 gigabytes of data inside the smart contract itself. So if you go to Dominic Williams' Twitter handle, we have demonstrated a facial recognition software running inside a smart contract. It's like bringing two Superman together and building that synergy, the power of blockchain and the power of AI inside a smart contract. So yeah.
Yeah, what about the red flags? What's going to be your red flag for not working and not integrating the project into your ecosystem?
So the red flags for DAI or in general, like
In general.
So there's a personal take and there is a organizational take probably for this program. My personal take is, my biggest red flag is if somebody is saying, hey, we have built it in this ecosystem, now we want to come to this ecosystem. And for me, how I see these protocols these are like countries. So you are in Web 2, if you want to establish in a new country, it's a whole lot of headache, right? So I normally avoid projects who are going to deploy multiple ecosystems. I feel like it's counterproductive to the founder itself, in my opinion. I might be wrong. But professionally speaking, like how we look at this thing, I think one thing that I really avoid is grand hoppers. And somebody who is like trying to come and see that can I do something with you and try to integrate and be part of the ecosystem. Those are some red flags that I see.
Thank you very much. That was really relevant. Now, Andy, I want to remind you a little bit. So, crisis of narratives, do you actively invest? What kind of portfolio companies are you searching for, and the red flags or preferences in terms of those projects?
So I have a different view on some things because I run a regulated fund and also a crypto fund within my own company. So maybe the regulated one I'll put aside. The crypto narrative that I have, so far, if you look at the top 10 coin market cap, it's either layer 1 or main coin, to be very honest. Or maybe even top 20, the trend is still the same. So from an investor, I will not say no to money, right? So layer 1 or layer 2 or even layer 0, these are things that we are really looking at. And then also the meme narrative is something that we really love, but because there's a lot of memes around, so right now if you are maybe a KOL or maybe a project or VC, there's a lot of people coming to you and say that I have a meme, I have a bird, I have an airplane or whatever, but most of them are just going to die very soon, right? So I do invest in memes, but I look at very specific things like number 1 would be the community size, and then because they are metrics. So I used to be with IBIT. So we have metrics to look at how people are real or not real. So we use that metrics to see what kind of engagement level you get, and then from there I derive that how much of them are real people and how much of them are bots. So first is community. Second is basically coming from a team perspective. Who is the leader? Are they strong enough? For me, I always put it this way. I think that for the technology part, I take it for granted that it is working. If not, why are they here, right? So I think if that is working, the only thing that really makes a difference from project A to project B is where their community are. How much active are we talking about? What kind of money are they putting in to support the project? What kind of TVL we look at? So these are some of the things that I look at. In terms of red flag, I have a couple. Recently I added a few more. So sometimes I hate those like a family kind of business. You are a startup, right? Your husband is there, your wife is the co-founder, your cousin is the co-founder. But these kind of things I try to really avoid. I also try to avoid the narrative where they change from chain to chain. Right? So I always tell them, if you're not doing well in BNB, for example, why do you think you do well in ICB? Right? So that kind of narrative in their bullshit manner is like, because ICB give more support. What do you mean by that? So that kind of project I will try to avoid. And then of course coming back to the narrative, apart from the meme, the layer 1, the last thing will be AI. Because I look at AI in a different manner. So when Dominic shows the video, and I look at it, it's cool. You can recognize and everything. But I look at it from a more finance-driven perspective. How AI gives you tools to help you to trade. If I help you to trade, you make money, you become my community. So things like this are more natural, right? So as a VC, I look at narrative to that angle, not so much on how many utility, how much utility you have. That's something that I will look at.
Gentlemen, beautiful. Thank you very much. If I was the founder of a project, I would really absorb the information if I was in their shoes, to be honest. Guys, this is the founders of the project. Okay. So the next one. As we all know, there's you can agree or disagree with me. There is mainly 3 things that projects search in the investors. So the first one would be the name ad. So how big is your brand and what's that adding to your fundraising round? So let's say if you convert to A16Z, you have a great brand name and everybody will follow. Then you have a list of value adds. So you provide added value in terms of strategical support, in terms of connecting to different advisors, in terms of connecting to different layer ones, and etc. etc. There's a long list of different value adds that each fund is bringing on board. And the third one usually is whether you're a flipper fund and you're happy to flip the token or equity really fast, or you're strategically aligned in terms of how long you're going to stay with your portfolio companies. Do you believe that the meta that I've just said is shifting more towards the having less VCs or having more angels or more KOLs in that sense? So I see a huge shift from the perspective of our projects towards more like having a longer list of angels and bigger support of KOLs and having less VCs on board. And I also see that VCs are searching for that KOL round to be completed before they step in, or they help with completing the KOL round. So do you think that all of the three characters, name add, value add, and diamond hands, is having less importance right now than it used to be before, and we're shifting more towards angel/KOLs rounds? This is the actual topic of the panel today, so let's elaborate on that. And I'll start with Shashi.
So, my take on this is simple. I don't think it's by choice. The liquidity in the market is drying up pretty fast. People who have invested in last cycles have yet to realize their gains. So what you are left with, so a lot of VCs who are there are just going sideways right now. They are not investing, or probably waiting for someone to take a lead and then probably put something here and there to just say that we are still active.
Sitting on the fence.
But so that's why then you see these small checks coming in, and you see the average check size right now has gone so down, right? The only projects that are raising money are AI projects with big check size, and most of them are actually coming from more traditional VCs than and some big ones, like of course A16Z, other big funds from US are still deploying, but if you see, they are mostly deploying. I was talking to a very big fund in US 2 days back, last week, and they're also of the same thing. Like they said our average check size is still $500 to $1 million, which is a good check size to have. And they were actively looking at, because in ICT now we have around close to 55 AI projects, and they were actively looking at what AI projects can be bringing. So just to round up the point I'm trying to make is, except if you leave AI outside, right? I think the check sizes has gone very down. It's around 25 to 50K check size that people have come, and that's normally VCs don't put it. Like it's mostly clear. Even I've seen
this is usually an angel check, isn't it?
Yes, and I've seen even VCs asking for KOL rounds. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. So
that's why I asked that question, because I see that as well.
So everybody is now a KOL. So there's no VC versus KOL. Everybody's a KOL.
Yeah, go ahead.
I strongly agree. Like right now, every project, like I'm seeing this, KOL round sometimes is bigger than the VC round. Like I was like, what? The first time I saw it, it was like very embezzled. Like I tried like, okay, what are you trying to do right now? Like, can you scam me or my community or like to who? Because it is very different environment at this moment. Projects want to raise money, but VCs are really dried up. And I am connecting this to especially in the back in the days, like since from FTX, I believe people lost their trust to VCs a lot since then. Back in the days, it was awesome. Like when you see like a couple of VCs in the name of the project, okay, you're good. You can join blind eye and focus on that. But the thing is, right now, it is definitely not the case. Of course, there's still a lot to do. Like many of the projects, if you have like bigger names like Finance Labs or some other like big VCs that comes with, if you see their name on the package in the back, you'll say, okay, they are somewhat still trustworthy, but you don't know how sure, because people actually realize what is a VC really means. So VCs, they invest 100 projects. They don't actually do due diligence that high level because they don't need to. They have lots of money to do that. So at the end, even though they fail some of the projects, like while they're assessing, or even their assessment is correct, sometimes it doesn't just work out. So at the end, they will come out as good at the end, for themselves, of course, because they're VC and they're doing business over there. But for like single project, if you are like an angel, let's say, and you wanna invest in this project, but the thing is, your ticket size is, or your portfolio is much smaller than a regular VC. So you have to keep it in mind, and people kind of realize that. And I believe in this way, with this thinking in this way, I believe the names of the VC names for the projects, kind of lost their importance a little bit than back in this.
Yeah, before we give it to Petr, just I wanted to add a little bit to that what you said. I agree with most of the points, but there is one point that a little bit kind of shook me off, is that you said that VCs deploy into 100 projects and then they see who's going to be a champion. So I believe that VCs have two different approaches. And there's a slider in between. The first approach is, I personally call pay and spray, is what you just described, is that when we deploy into 100 projects and we believe that one is going to give us more than 100x. And there is the one that I call being very selective, is that you go in the deepest of the research before you make any sort of a decision. And that's being like kind of very, very selective. So you really only bet on the champions. And then if your project is not performing well, you have to look at how you do your due diligence and research. That's my adding to.
Of course, definitely I agree. I said it because, especially in the blue one, there are so many projects coming in, and so many of them are become successful at the same time because of there's like lots of money all the way. Because of that, actually, I believe some of the VCs, they kind of lost hindsight, and they kind of lost a little bit hindsight of that what is actually viable and good, and what is actually not. Because of all of them were doing good. That's why, actually, yeah. But I definitely agree with you. You have to reevaluate all the time, every time.
All right, Petr, please. What's your stance on the last question?
People start hating VC just because people want to hate something. It's the nature of the community, because people just want to complain. People hate exchanges, people hate VCs, people hate influencers, dumping tokens, people hate market makers. Okay, who we hate today? Today we hate VCs. Well done. So my thing is that it all depends on the nature of the product. For example, do you remember like 1 week ago the announcement of Story Protocol that raised 140 million? How many influencers, angel investors you need to fill 140 million? That's the question. Or even like, okay, not 140 million. If you want to raise 10 million USD round, of course the way you add the venture capital funds, especially like big ones, that they bring money to the table to grow the company for 5, 10 years ahead. And that makes perfect sense. And from these investors, a lot of founders, they even don't expect more support, because if the fund brings $5 million ticket to you, you will not ask them for additional support, because
Shut up and take my money.
$5 million is still big money. I don't know, guys. Probably we're in a different world, but for us, $5 million is a big money. And it all depends on the nature of the project. We see more and more fail launches or community type of launches, and it's all great, and we like it, and we respect that. We all see meme type of launches. We all understand that the current meta of launches is a bit broken, and not VC game is broken. The meta of the launches is broken, and market is a bit broken, because we see like not ethical behavior from different partners, and then we just like apply it to the entire market. But it's not true. It's just by the selected number of the partners, how we saw by like famous stories of FTX or famous stories of different market makers and so on and so on. And that's why we just need more creative ways of fundraising and more creative ways of launches. Okay, you want to launch a community-driven project, raise 1 million from DAOs or raise it from angel investors or raise from influencers. For example, we're open to any sort of, we are private capital, we're not liable to like LPs that want standard deal practices from us. We are flexible to different types of deals. For example, recently, like 1 month ago, we funded a project called Collective, which was launched by quite famous influencer trading lord in the space. And we've been only one, let's say, so-called VC in this round. All other were collected by community members, other influencers, other angel investors such as Lucanets from PUBG, such as other big influencers like Ansem on Rookie XBT. So, and we are fine with that because, okay, and they have different vesting structure, different deal structure, different distribution structure. Let's try different creative ways of distribution. Let's do 50% unlock on day one. Let's do conditional vesting based on the FDV of the project, which is also a great idea. Then higher FDV of the project, then bigger the trading volume, then more tokens we can inflow to the market. That can change the meta of a high FDV low float market. We don't need to hate someone. We don't need to hate KOLs. Because if we just hate each other in this space, we'll just kill each other, and Web3 will never get mainstream and will never get big. We just have to find more creative solutions, not just stuck to farming meta, points meta, I don't know, Binance meta, Bybit meta, whatever it's so-called. Just let's try launches on DEXs, launches on virtual exchanges, community rounds, KOL rounds, whatever. What works best and what serves community, what serve final customers, whether it's B2B or B2C customers, what makes big products high, that will win. And that's our strategy and that's our goal and our one main of recommendations for founders right now. Now is the perfect time to do things differently. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Petr. That's golden actually, guys. I would frame that, Experiment, try different, be different, don't do standard practices. And now, Andy, obviously, we would love to hear your opinion on that.
My views are very similar, very similar. Because right now, I think as a project, or as an entrepreneur, you should try to get all kinds of investment, right? I really hate those projects that will come to me and say that, hey, bro, we need your money, and I need your strategic advice. So on my end, from my fund, we don't do that. So either we just give the money, or we just don't. We are not going to take money, marketing, advisory, and so forth. Because to us, there's a conflict of interest. Maybe different from Petr, but for us as a fund, that's a small red flag for our end. We invest, we make sure that the project is good. There's a certain thing that we like about it. There's a certain team member that we like about it. We invest and then we do the job, right? So far, this methodology has worked well for our end, But of course, from a further down perspective, for example, some projects that we have invested in 2019, for example, then the strategy will be different because it has really TGE, they have really done a fair bit of market adoption and so forth. Then they come to us, can you do some advisory? But by then, because we don't have any tokens anymore, we are happy to do that to see how we can kind of maybe get more tokens from them, or maybe we can offer them a fee for a service. So we do that, but it's from a different arm or a different entity that we are doing this. So this method, at least on our end, it has been working very well. But also at the same time, because of how fundraise has been growing in the recent time, there's a lot of projects, there's a very little money and so forth. Whether it's a KOL round or whether it's a VC round, to us, it doesn't really matter. It depends on how they look at us, right? Are you a VC, are you a KOL? I just look at the number that they give, right? The valuation that they give. That is the most important thing. They can call me a receptionist or whatever you want to call it. shit man, give me a good price, you know? And I think that if you are good, we will go in, right? So these are the things that we often do and we often see that is happening. But of course, what we see right now, you know, in the space in general, a lot of the VCs are really dried up, really broke and poor, very poor. And especially those that invest in 200, 500 projects, you know, if they don't have a big backer behind, a lot of them are really poor, right? And they do not have the capability to invest or to pick projects because they even know that they don't have money. So right now, we have to be very honest as VCs, we are all gamblers. You know, we gamble a certain amount of money to make sure we get an ROI back, right? So we just do gently. If you do it as a good project and they ask me to invest 2 million in it, I will not do it. You know why? Because there's no way I can exit from the project. You know, it's not how big the fund is, right? Maybe he has a 1 million AUM. But you dare to put 2 million in the project and how are you going to get the money back? Right? So that's the trick. So we have to be very careful.
Thank you very much. Guys, I have so many more questions, but I think I have to cut it short a little bit. I have one really satirical question that I always ask, and I run a lot of panels to be honest. And that's the question to every VC that I meet. So, why VCs dump, who they dump on, and do they dump at all? And obviously treated as a satirical question, so.
VC definitely don't. Yeah.
Thank you.
If we don't sell the token, we will not make money. Right? We are not God, you know, we need to make money.
Dumping is not selling and exiting. You could exit with agreeing with the founder of the project, or you can just dump to the market straight away.
Correct. So the good projects, we actually sell it back to the project owner where they could buy back if they have the ability. You know, but sometimes what we usually do is that we put out a small portion into the market. And I think that will not cause a big drop in price.
Yeah.
But I think everybody needs to dump it.
Thanks, man. That's a position.
We are on the other side, so we can't say about that.
Hold strong. Yeah.
Because we are a big project. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We are on the other side of
A
it.
particular question to you, Shashi. Have you, as the Divinity Foundation, had some big funds that dumped on you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
No comment.
Alright, anyway, strategies of dumping would be different. What's your stance, Red?
Yeah, definitely dumb. But the thing is, even when we entered in KOL rounds, we will redo that because we have to get our money back. Because like we invested in, now we marketed it, like we did the job.
But, excuse me, man, exiting is not dumping. That's a bit different.
Yeah, but like not that different.
Cool.
It's not that different. Like, of course, we need to get our money back in some way. But of course, when you do that, you have to like be careful and think other people's interests also at the same time. Because like they are your community that, or you're promoted, or they're someone's community at the very end. But at the end, the money is still the money, and still you have to make the money that you invested in somehow. And this is the game. It's just have to be reconstructed that it doesn't have a big impact on the project before everyone else invested. But after everyone else invested, you can't cry about it. Just say, oh, they don't have me, etc. When you have to read the terms and conditions before the hand that if it's poorly constructed, just don't invest. That's it.
Sure, thank you. Petr, and to finalize, do you guys dump?
If VC doesn't dump, it's not a VC but charity organization.
Frame that as well.
But on a serious note, also the important point for founders and actually for everyone, one of the best marketing tools in crypto is for token-related products is the chart of the token. And if you break the chart, then you can break your product, and then you will never get back, probably. So yeah, not. And when someone is is breaking the chart, he's potentially breaking his other exit opportunities. So let's all be respectful and careful to each other.
Gentlemen, super perfect. One thing left is to make a community picture, and then I'll take care of that. And have a round of applause. Gentlemen, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for everybody who listened. Really appreciate your time and your ears. Thank you.
Okay guys, we'll take a 10-minute time out before we start the next panel with Jenny over there. So yeah, 10 minutes break.